Well, hello, welcome to the video. Welcome to Trucking Business Success. We haven't met yet. My name is LD Sewell. I'm the founder of Transport Resource Solutions and the Trucking Business Success Facebook group, truckingbusinesssuccess.com, Trucking Business Success courses. And we teach a lot of topics on trucking, on entrepreneurship, on business, on all kinds of different things that can help you build yourself a better life. We operate, and when I say we, my wife and I own Transport Resource Solutions together. Currently operate that company as a training and a consulting company, which is what it started out as, and we open a motor carrier division. So we're operating as independent owner operators. We're operating one truck, one trailer, hauling freight. Been doing that for quite a while now, and we'll continue doing that into next year. Next year, we intend to begin leasing on other owner operators and building a company into a fleet. You want to read about my background, you can check that out on Udemy. You can check that out on most of my sites, including ldsewell.com. Enough information there to bore you to death, or whichever, give you all kinds of information on how I come to the conclusions that I come to and why I teach the things that I do. But just to give you a very brief rundown, is I've been in trucking for about a quarter of a century, well over 25 years now. Started as a over-the-road driver, drove all over the United States and Canada, then got on a dedicated account, pulled doubles to a large chain of department stores, left a big mega carrier I was with, went to a smaller company, worked in dispatch, went to recruiting, safety, training, set up and operated a separate company as a tractor trailer training school, a licensed tractor trailer training school, teaching people the skills necessary for them to get their own CDL. And ran an internal training program for years and years. Along the line, we set up Transport Resource Solutions to help other owner operators, other independent trucking business owners, as well as people that were interested in getting into trucking and wanted information about getting a CDL. Wrote a book way back in 2008, I think, 2009, Introduction to Professional Truck Driving Careers. Put that on Amazon. Still up, still sells a few copies every once in a while. Written a few other books, ebooks. So we write publications, we teach online courses. We have about 19 courses on Udemy as of today, a few other courses on other platforms, mostly on trucking, but some on entrepreneurship, business, and other things. So we love helping people get started in trucking, get started in business, to learn some things that can save you a lot of years of trial and error and trouble, and to help you out. So one of the things I want to talk about today is for people interested in becoming independent owner operators. One of the first things I suggest that you do in all cases, in any kind of business that you're thinking about starting, but especially if you're thinking about becoming an independent owner operator, is get informed. Get information about what it is that you're about to get yourself into before you go down the rabbit hole and have to learn a lot of lessons the hard way. It's a wonderful thing to do. It can be very profitable, but there are a lot of expenses, there are a lot of liabilities, there are a lot of things that you're going to have to take care of on your own. You're going to need to consider your insurance as well. Insurance for most new owner operators can range anywhere from about $1,200 per month up to as much as $2,000 per month just for your liability insurance. It may include your cargo insurance depending on your credit, your background, your years in trucking, other factors, and what insurance company you choose. But a lot of folks don't have a clue as to how much insurance is going to cost. Again, it can be very expensive starting out. Keep in mind that typically doesn't include your physical damage or your insurance on your truck itself. If something were to happen to that, if you were to, have some tree fall on it or put it in a ditch and damage it, something of that nature, you're going to have insurance on it. If you finance it, the finance company is going to require that you have physical damage insurance on it as well. But you have to have liability. That's mandated by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration is currently $750,000 minimum liability coverage. Most insurance companies write that for $1 million. You have $1 million in liability coverage. Cargo, you're going to want 100 or 200,000, probably 200,000 at least. Physical damage is going to depend on the value of your truck. And again, all these numbers are going to depend on you, your background, your experience in trucking, what truck you choose, where your base state's operated out of, all that kind of stuff. You're also going to have to get yourself in a random drug and alcohol testing program, a consortium. There are different ways to go about doing that. I recommend DDTA out of East Palestine, Ohio. Cliff Dilling is the owner there. I've known Cliff for many, many years. Very knowledgeable individual, great company, very affordable, but you're going to have to find a company like that. Either you're going to have to go with DDTA, or you can go with Owner Operators Independent Drivers Association, or you can go with some other company, most of which will charge you more than Cliff will. But you have to be in a consortium or consortium of some type. And you have to be in a random pool. You have to have a pre-employment drug test on file before you run your first load. Don't make the mistake of running a load without doing that. The fines are in the multiple thousands of dollars, and you could even get your company shut down. So a simple little thing like not knowing that can doom your business before you even get started. So make sure you understand drug and alcohol testing. Get a pre-employment DOT drug test, have the results on file, and you're in a program like Cliff runs at DDTA. Have any questions on drug and alcohol testing? Look him up. DDTA Services, East Palestine, Ohio. Call up Cliff. Tell him Derek told you to call. My name is LD Sewell. The D stands for Derek. So anyway, selection of the truck. Another big decision that you're going to have to make. A lot of people don't know what trucks to pick. I'll make it easy for you. If you're just starting out in trucking, don't have a lot of knowledge about it, don't have a lot of experience in trucking, you want to look at two trucks. You want to look at a Freightliner Cascadia, somewhere around 2014 or newer. You want to look at a Volvo 670 or 780, somewhere in that ballpark, about the same year, 2015, 2014, 15, 16, 17, somewhere in that bracket. You want to try to find a truck that you can get the maintenance records on, that is in good shape, that still has at least a couple 100,000 miles left that you can get out of it before you have to do major engine work on it. And then there are other things that you can do to make sure that it's going to run or help ensure that it's going to run for that period of time, so you can generate some revenue before you have to spend a bunch of money on major repairs. Obviously, you're going to want a trailer. That's going to depend on your background, what you're used to hauling. Typically, if you've been in flatbeds, stay in flatbeds. If you've been in vans, stay in vans. If you've been in reefers, stay in reefers. Is my advice to people starting out. If you're new to it, start out with vans. If you don't have a lot of experience, that would be my other advice to you. Before you just jump right into trucking as an independent owner-operator, I would highly suggest that if you have no trucking experience, that you take a job as a company driver. Do that for at least 9 months to a year. Learn the fundamentals of trucking before you run out and buy a truck and a trailer. Do some people buy a truck and a trailer and become successful at it? Possibly, but a lot more fail because they don't have the fundamental knowledge that's necessary, and they get overwhelmed because they're trying to learn how to be truck drivers at the same time they're trying to learn how to be independent owner operators as well. You're going to have all kinds of different things that you have to complete and do to get your authority. Getting your DOT number is free. You can do that on the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration site. Getting your authority is going to cost you. Last time I looked at it, it was $300. You check the site. They'll tell you the price. And it takes a period of time. That's another thing a lot of people don't understand. Your DOT number will be issued to you. You can actually get your motor carrier number very quickly, but your number is not going to be active, meaning you don't have active authority and can't start running freight for somewhere around 21 days to 30 days. And during that time, you're going to need to get all these other things set up. Like I said, you got to have the drug testing stuff done. You got to have a qualification file built. You need maintenance program, records and stuff set up. You have to have markings for your truck. Lots of things you have to have in place before you go out and haul that first load. And then when you finally get ready to do all that, where are you going to get your freight from? The most common place that most new independent owner operators get loads from is brokers. And some brokers are not going to work with you because you're brand new. Many others will. Don't let that deter you. There are plenty of people that will work with you. If you call up somebody or look into working with a brokerage and they don't want to work with you because your number's too new and your authority's too new, don't worry about that. Just call the next one. And it won't be long before all of them will be happy to work with you. Once you decide to work with a broker, you're going to have to fill out something called a carrier packet. They're going to ask for all kinds of information. Your motor carrier number, your DOT number, your address, name of your company, your name, contact stuff, sign off and different things. Usually you can do that online, or you can do it in, fax it in, one of the two. Get set up with them, and then once you're set up in their system, it's relatively easy to book loads. And a lot of them you can book it with an app after that. And I really like doing that. So you don't even have to talk to somebody, just pick the load you want. Or bid on the load, you get the bid, you get the load. You show up, pick the load up, deliver the load. In some cases you can take pictures of your documents with your smartphone and even get paid within a day or two by that broker. For brokers that don't pay that quickly, or customers, a typical customer won't pay you for 30 days or more. If you're hauling direct freight, you get your direct customers. We have some of those too. Cash flow is a major issue. You're going to want to make sure you can get paid quickly. The quickest way to get paid is to set up a relationship with a factoring company. We use Apex. There are others I would recommend as well. Apex is decent. Not perfect, but they're decent for the most part, most of the time. And what they do is they enable you to submit your paperwork and get paid within a very short period of time. So you're not having to wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks or longer to get that money. And that's important because you're going to be paying a lot of money out in fuel every day, every other day, depending on what you're running. Our average fuel bill is about anywhere from 100 to 150 bucks per day, or at least every other day, depending on what we're running. And I run a lot of what I would classify as short haul stuff. That's out and back in. We don't typically try to do real long trips. You might be wanting to try to do the same thing, or you might be wanting to run trips that are longer, and that could very easily be $150, $200 per day or more in fuel. Depending on exactly where you're running, the weight, whether you're running in the mountains, lots of other factors. But my point is, regardless of what the specific number is for you, your fuel bill is going to be extremely high. You're talking about hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars per week in fuel, and you're talking about insurance that you have to pay every month. You're going to have other fees that you have to pay. You're going to have tires that are going to need to be replaced. Even if you do everything right, you have good tires on your equipment, for example. I've had several things lately to where there have been major accidents in front of me, and there's been debris and garbage and stuff in the road. You're going to run over that stuff. There's no way around that. And sometimes you're going to get stuff in your tires. Some cases you might be able to patch it or have it patched. Other cases you're going to wind up having to replace a tire. Guess who's going to pay for that? Not the people that caused the accident, not the state or the county where you run over the debris in the road. You are. So, tires are multiple hundreds of dollars a piece, depending on what brand and what tires you're running. We're running new tires or recaps. But, a tire for a Chinese tire can be $300-$400 or so. For a Goodyear tire, it can be $600-$800 and up. So tires can cost you a lot of money. And so those are just some of the things you're going to have to be aware of. You have to do maintenance. You have to do PMs on your truck. Either you're going to do that yourself, or you're going to pay somebody to change the oil, change the filters, lube the truck, do all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot that goes into it. I've got a few courses on Udemy. You can certainly check out the courses I have on Udemy. We're going to be doing some updates to those as well and adding some new courses. But go to Udemy and then look up my name, LD Sewell, and it should pull up a list of all the courses I've got on Udemy. So feel free to check those out. And that's just to give you a little glimpse into some of the things that you're going to have to deal with. But you're going to have to, if you're going to be an independent owner operator, all these decisions you're going to have to make yourself. Don't forget about taxes either. That's one of the things that does a lot of people in is they treat the revenue that comes in like they did the paycheck that came in when they were company drivers. Remember, that's gross revenue. Okay, you're still going to have to pay taxes out of that. So you need to set aside taxes. And speaking of taxes, you have fuel taxes that you have to pay quarterly as well. So remember to set money aside for your fuel taxes, set money aside for your personal taxes that you're going to have to pay, on your income part that you're taking out. You're going to have all kinds of things that need to be accounted for, tracked and managed. And also, it's easy to lose track of these loads. When you're first starting out and it's just 1 or 2 loads, it's one thing. But when you've been running for a few months, you're running loads every day of the week for the most part, they add up quickly. And you're going to need some kind of trucking management software. I like Trucking Office, but you can use whatever you want. But you're going to need some kind of computer program to help you keep track of your loads so that you don't forget about getting paid. And you sit here and think going into it, well, that's impossible. I'd never forget that. It's easy to do if you're not tracking it in a computer program. To lose track that there was an invoice for a load that you ran 2 weeks ago that for some reason you haven't been paid yet. And if you don't have something telling you that, the further and further that gets behind, the more and more likely it is that you won't collect on it and you'll be out of that money. So hope that helps, gives you a little bit of information there on some of the things you need to consider when you're thinking about becoming an independent owner-operator. Feel free to come join us in the Trucking Business Success Facebook group. Go to Udemy, check out my profile, check out the courses that we have available there. And of course, subscribe to this channel, check back here frequently. Going to be putting up lots of videos and trying to give you some information that will help you as you decide to build your own trucking career and or trucking business successfully. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a great day. Talk to you again soon in the next video.